Hello, viewers. Welcome once again to my vegetable garden. This is Mercy Berrick. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself across the globe. I hope you are starting off your week on a good footing. Today I come to share with you my garden again. As you see, it's in the backdrop, and we'll go more academic today. So I'm going to uh, deal with the medicinal and some edible uses of the plants that I will showcase today. And feel free to interact and also give me some recipes or some foods that we can use to prepare with some of the things that I'm going to show you today. On my list is tomatoes. You guys know this is just one species of tomatoes. And then I also have a bitter leaf, which is called differently in, I think, different African countries and even tribes. And then we have the garden eggs, which is, at least here, it's called the eggplant. I grew up calling it a garden egg, and it also has I think different names depending on the region. And we have different species. So we have this one, and then we have this other kind, and I think there's even more than one, not just this, but this is what I have here for you today. And then lastly, we have uh what you call lemongrass. So lemongrass also has different names, fever grass, depending on what side of the planet you're from. And so I'm just gonna delve into them a little bit more detailedly. I know subsequently we'll still do more, maybe even kind of show you how we use them either in cooking or in preparing them for their medicinal values. So now let's start with tomatoes. This particular tomatoes, I think this species here is called Better Boy. I hope I'm right. We have like other species here in the US, in the United States, that's called like Roma, Cherry, Clover's Garden, Cherokee. We have the Burpee and the San Marzano. So we got tons of tomatoes, tons of different kinds of tomatoes. So I will let you know this tomato. I think it's a plant. It's a flowering plant. The scientific name of tomatoes is Solanum lycopersicum. So Solanum being the genus and Lycopersicum being the species. So this flowering plant is from the family Solanaceae. Of course, it's a plant, so it's the kingdom is a plantae. Tomato is a flowering plant of the nightshade family Solanaceae, and it is cultivated extensively for its edible fruits. So the fruits being this one. So you can eat them raw. You can use them in cooking soups, and also you can also use them, like you can process tomatoes and it's used like in ketchup. You can also have tomato juice. You can have tomato paste. You can have it dried up, and so it has different uses. Tell me, how do you use your tomatoes? Is it just for tomato sauce? You can also use it for salads. So this has a lot of value. Yes, it has a lot of nutritional value. So it is labeled as a vegetable for nutritional purposes. But I guess we can always debate if this is a vegetable or a fruit. But I defined it as a flowering plant. Okay, so tomatoes is it's a good source of vitamin C and the phytochemical, which is called lycopene. And this phytochemical, what is important about this phytochemical is that it can act as a potent antioxidant and protect cells against oxidative damage. And thereby it prevents or reduces the risk of several cancers. So that is my take with tomatoes today. Why don't you guys let me know what you like about tomatoes? What do you use it for? And what are the different ways? What are the different recipes? So I hope you guys are watching and interacting. I appreciate your feedback. And don't forget to like, share, and follow. So we'll go to the next vegetable, and this one is lemongrass. So lemongrass, these are all in my garden. So I think I showed you previously, but lemongrass, I am from former southern Cameroon. It's called Ambazonia. This is called fever grass. We grew up calling this fever grass. Other people call it different names. It is a widely used herb in tropical countries and all, especially in Southeast Asia, and I believe in Africa as well, and maybe in the Americas. Of course, I'm here and it's growing here, so definitely these plants are being transplanted, or they can grow depending on the weather. And this weather here definitely favors it because mine is really blossoming. So the lemongrass, the essential oil of this plant is used in aromatherapy. So those are some of the uses. And then the oil can also be used in cooking. It is from the family called Poaceae. I don't think I gave you guys the scientific name. I like to start with the scientific name. So the scientific name of lemongrass is called Cymbopogon citratus. Some of these names I don't know. They may be Italian, Latin, of Latin descent, but yeah, that's what you call it. It's called Cymbopogon citratus. So that's the genus and the species. So for the medicinal uses, studies indicate that this plant possesses various pharmacological activities such as anti-amoebic, anti-diarrheal, anti-filarial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory properties, meaning that it acts against those conditions. Therefore, it can give you relief. It can give you relief if you have some kind of diarrhea, filaria, fungal, or whatever the case is. And then various other effects are studied, like anti-malarial, for those of you who are familiar with malaria. Of course, even if you're not from the part of the world where malaria is rampant, like in Africa and some Asian countries, malaria is really a serious concern, as it accounts for a high mortality rate among normal people, pregnant people, and kids. Okay, so then we have various other effects studied, like anti-mutagenicity, antimicrobacterial, antioxidant. So those are all functions of this plant. Hypoglycemic, that is in lowering your blood sugar, and also neurobehavioral have been studied with very encouraging results that indicate this herb should be used more extensively to confirm these results and reveal other potential therapeutic effects. So the way you can use this herb. You can boil it and use it as a tea. You can drink it as a tea. You can like mix it up with ginger, however you like your tea. Even you can mix it up with your tea that you want. Say you have a decaf Lipton tea, you put it in the water that this has been extracted into, and then you can drink it to get those benefits that I just listed. It can also be used to treat sore throat. So it has lots of uses, and in different countries, it is used and extracted in different ways. Yeah, I will take a session to show you how I do mine. Yeah, but I normally would just drink it as a tea. If I have a fever sometimes, I take it too, and it definitely causes like instant relief. You're going to feel better about it. So I'm going to move now to my next vegetable on my list, which is bitter leaf. So bitter leaf is a favorite of mine because I grew up eating a lot of this. I don't necessarily like it because it's bitter, but I've come to love it because of the effects of this compound that makes it bitter. Bitter leaf, it's very good just as like recipes for bitter leaf. You can just cook it with just normally like a vegetable, spice it up with meat, fish, anyhow you like it. Or you can just do it normally without all of those and just make it plain and a little bitter. We have a dish back home where that we call ndole. So you use this vegetable, and then you can use peanuts, and then you'll make some kind of paste, and then you can eat it either with plantains, corn, or whatever you want to eat it with. So I started with the uses. I think those are the edible uses, but let's get back to the beginning. So bitter leaf, the scientific name, and when I say scientific name, I mean like the genus and the species. The scientific name of this bitter leaf is called Veronia amygdalina. Veronia being the genus, amygdalina the species. We have different kinds of bitter leaf, but today I think my other species just flew away because it's kind of windy. Today, this is showcasing the bitter one. This is the real bitter one. You have one that's really bitter and one that's a little, it's not as bitter, so you don't need to wash it as much. It is common in Africa, this vegetable. In Amharic, it's called grawa. In the Yoruba language in Nigeria, it's called ewuro. And in the Igbo language, it's called onugbu. And fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know the name in my own native tongue of so I just know that it's bitter leaf. And then when you cook it, you can call it ndole, depending on how you cook it. So the family is Asteraceae. That's the family it's from. Those are just some of the continuation of the scientific classification. So bitter leaf in itself, it is a member of the daisy family, a small shrub that tropical grows in tropical Africa, and it normally grows to the height of about two 2 to 5 meters. Yeah, I have some in the garden, but let me see if you guys can see like how tall it is. So this is a bitter leaf plant right there and over there. So you can see some get really tall while some are kind of short, depending. Yeah. So like I said before, it is cooked as a vegetable, and it has a lot of medicinal uses, which is why I have come to love bitter leaf and grow it. Hello. I don't know if I see a comment there, but hi. I'm going to continue uh, with my presentation of bitter leaf. Bitter leaf has a lot of antioxidative and chemo chemopreventive properties. It has antibacterial. I want to have it so you can see. I don't know if you see well, but anyways, it has anti-inflammatory. Those are like the medicinal uses that are listed now for this plant. It has hepatoprotective and carcinogenic actions, meaning that it helps with liver issues and also to prevent against cancer. So there's a lot of studies going on with this plant, and also it is it has a very effective hypoglycemic effect. So, for example, um, if you have a high sugar and you make this like a soup, and of course you have to make sure you don't wipe out like all the benefits, like you don't take out all the bitterness. So if you take your blood sugar, have just a nice meal of this, eat not necessarily like a whole lot, but a considerable amount how you would normally eat a soup. And then let's say an hour or two, take your blood sugar and you will see what I'm talking about, the high hypoglycemic effect that this plant has. Of course, I have to caution you, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying things that I have done myself, and also what I've read about. So we have references, and you guys can also go and check in the right scientific journals to see about this plant. So that's my disclaimer right there. So for bitter leaf, you have like the antioxidant, have the phenolic agents have been implicated in the mechanisms of chemo prevention. What does this mean? It implies the use of chemical substances of natural origin or scientific or synthetic to reverse, retard, or delay the multi-stage carcinogenic process. So, kind of a summarizing, it acts to prevent cancer, and work is still ongoing about this plant. Right now, you can find in the stores, especially maybe back in Nigeria, and also here in some stores, there's a herbal supplement that's made from bitter leaf, and it is for people who have taken it. They have said that they have seen some considerable um effect on their blood sugar and their high blood pressure. So it's something that you can try, or just try the natural stuff, of course, so you know that it's like totally organic. But whatever you try, always research and make sure you are looking at the side effects, since for everything you always have side effects. So can you guys tell me, for those who know bitter leaf, how do you cook it? What other uses do you have for it? Because I know it's endless, but I have to just kind of summarize what I have. On a later session, I'll definitely show you how I prepare my bitter leaf, because there's like two different ways. But I think for now, I am done with bitter leaf. I love the scientific name, by the way, Venonia amygdalina. kind of sounds like it's a flower. All right. So lastly, I'm going to talk about this plant. This plant, I love this. I believe this is the fruit of the plant, and it is called eggplant, like I said, but I grew up calling it garden eggs. I don't know why. Maybe because it looks like an egg, but that's what I got from my mom. And then, oh, from my grandma and all the other people um, that I got in contact with. In my native tongue, they call it chinya. And to be honest, I can't spell it, but that's what I know about this plant. So we have this species that I'm used to, and then this other species, I don't know if there's a variation in the name, but I call it the Asian species. Maybe I'm wrong, but just because I got it from someone of Asian descent, and they farm it and they sell it. So maybe I'm wrong on that, but this is another kind. And there's also a third kind, but for some reason, the third one didn't grow in my garden. I have three of them. So eggplant or garden eggs, the scientific name is Solanum melongena. Solanum being the genus, melongena being the species. It's called eggplant, it's called aubergine or brinjal, or like I said in my native language, it's called chinya, and some other people uh, from the former southern Cameroon call it njakatu. So it is a plant species in the nightshade family, Solanaceae. So that means it shares the same family like tomatoes. So it is grown worldwide, mostly for its edible fruit, which is this one. If I can show you the actual plant, let me try. So here is the plant. If you can see it, this is the plant, and this is a fruit that's still growing. I hope I captured that there. Now it's starting to get cold, and a lot of the fruits looks like they're not really bearing as much. Of course, it's going down because this is the time of the year where that happens. So it is grown worldwide for the fruit, and it is, like I said before, you can use this as a good healthy snack. So this one I washed already, so you can just take it, right, and have a bite, just like that. So this has seeds in it, and it's a little bitter too. And you can let it ripen. You don't have to eat it. You don't have to eat it raw. It is cooked. You can cook it as a soup by itself. You can cook it with tomatoes. You can do it as an accompaniment for like a dish that we have back home. It's called achu, where this will be one of the particulars or one of the things that make the soup spicy. And of course, it has good nutritional value. What I know, of course, is like this garden eggs has is used like a liver cleanser, so like a cleansing vegetable, just like how you go and get like a when you want to do a cleanse of the system. So it's definitely very good for the digestive system. So what do you guys think? Do you use this, and how do you use it? What are the different recipes? Hello, Lady Nature. How are you? Hi, very small. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys are enjoying. And I love to interact with you. What do you guys think? I want to get your feedback. For me, I have two things that I do with this. I prefer to eat it as a snack rather than cook it. But if I have to cook it, then I have to put in everything that makes it tasty, like fish, meat, whatever, just to make it taste really good. And of course, tomatoes. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope to come with more next time. Next time, maybe we'll talk about the garden huckleberry, other vegetables, and why not some flowers. Let's mix in some flowers with the vegetables. I hope you've enjoyed watching me. It was kind of windy here, things going left and right, but I think I've had a nice time, and I hope you guys did too. So please, as you interact on the page, remember to like, share, and follow. You can also follow me on Messi Fournier Garden of Knowledge, and also on my page, my main page, which is Messi Beric. I think it's a profile, but that's my main uh, page for now. Thank you, and you guys have a blessed day. I'm gonna finish this lovely Solanum melongina after this. Bye. Adios. See you next time, which is on Wednesday.